Check, check. Check, check. Check, check. Check, check. Nice. DaVinci Resolve 19.1. Welcome. Welcome to DaVinci Resolve for Mac, Linux, and Windows. DaVinci is the world's most trusted name in color and has been used to grade more Hollywood films, TV shows, and commercials than anything else. With DaVinci Resolve, you get a complete set of editing, advanced color correction, professional Fairlight audio, post-production tools, and Fusion visual effects combined in one application so you can edit, compose, grade, mix, and master deliverables from start to finish, all in a single tool. DaVinci Resolve has the features professional editors, colorists, audio engineers, and VFX artists need, and is built on completely modern technology with advanced audio, color, and image processing that goes far beyond what any other system can do. With this release, we hope to inspire creativity by letting you work in a comfortable, familiar way, while also giving you an entirely new creative toolset that will help you cut and finish products at higher quality than ever before. We hope you enjoy reading this manual. With its customizable interface and keyboard shortcuts, DaVinci Resolve is easy to learn, especially if you're switching from another editor, and has all of the tools you need to create breathtaking, high-end work. The DaVinci Resolve engineering team, signed Grant Petty, CEO of Blackmagic Design. Thanks for joining me, everybody. If I had thought ahead, this probably wouldn't have needed to be live, but it's live. Hi, Jake, Caesar, Crypturio, Brian, hope for best. Thanks for joining me. I am not going to read the table of contents, and that should save us 10 whole pages. Hello, Matthew. Getting started. When you install DaVinci Resolve and then open it for the first time, there are a few things you're going to want to know before you begin learning how to work. Automatic DaVinci Resolve updates. To make it easier to ensure you're using the latest version of DaVinci Resolve, you can now choose DaVinci Resolve Check for Updates to notify you of new versions and download them when available. Why is this manual so big? Over the years, DaVinci Resolve has evolved to encompass professional editing, compositing, and audio mixing tools and workflows in addition to the grading tools that were the original core of DaVinci Resolve. Each one of these domains of functionality is incredibly deep. Consequently, the documentation has grown with each new page, tool, and parameter that's been added. To make life easier and to solve countless problems that can emerge during the post-production process. While it is regretted that this user manual contains such a staggeringly overwhelming amount of information, our emphasis has always been to ensure that hopefully, every control and workflow you encounter in DaVinci Resolve is explained somewhere within the contents of these pages. Consequently, we hope that you find the hyperlinked table of contents and search functionality of your preferred PDF browser helpful in finding the information you need, along with context and tips to help you get the most out of the tools provided. No, Tyler, I needed a bigger book. And surprisingly, that there are bigger books. Navigation guide. For ease of use navigating this manual, each table of contents listed on this manual are hyperlinked, and by clicking on each title or page number, you will be taken to the appropriate part of the manual. On the right side of each page includes a hyperlink tab, and you can hover the pointer over the tab, and by clicking on the tab, you will be taken to the main table of contents page. DaVinci Resolve interface. Chapter 1, Introduction to DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve integrates editing, compositing, and motion graphics, color correction, audio recording, and mixing, and finishing within a single, easy-to-learn application. The editing, compositing, grading, and audio tools found in DaVinci Resolve should be immediately familiar to experienced artists who have used other applications, but they're also approachable to folks who are new to post-production. Additionally, dedicated tools available for on-set workflows integrate tasks such as media duplication, shot and metadata organization, and on-location look management into a complete toolset that lets you smoothly segue from the camera original media being acquired in the field to the organization and use of that media in a wide variety of post-production workflows with DaVinci Resolve at the heart. In particular, the tight integration of DaVinci Resolve means that you can move freely from one task to the next of your project's workflow without skipping a beat, making it easy to back up and organize a shoot's media before immediately diving into editing, while switching over to add a quick composite or to color correct clips in the middle of your editing spree, and then getting right back to cutting, with a bit of mixing to make sure things sound right, all without needing to export projects or launch other applications. And you can go further, using the collaborative features of DaVinci Resolve to enable multiple artists, for example an editor, a colorist, and assistants, to work together on the same timeline simultaneously for the ultimate integrated workflow. Of course, no post-production professional works in a vacuum, and DaVinci Resolve makes it easy to work with other facilities by importing projects and exporting project exchange formats and rendered or managed media among applications such as Apple's Final Cut Pro X, Adobe's Premiere Pro, Avid's Media Composer, and Pro Tools, Autodesk's Flame Premium, and many other applications via robust support of XML, AAF, and EDL import and export workflows. This chapter introduces the DaVinci Resolve user interface, UI, explaining where to find each group of features and how the highly focused and tightly integrated media, edit, fusion, color, Fairlight, and deliver pages work together to let you pursue nearly any post-production workflow you can imagine. After this brief tour, the rest of part 1 of this manual provides much more in-depth information about project management, preferences, project settings, and other topics of general interest for getting started. Thanks, Gabriel. This is live, by the way. For some reason. And I am skipping another table of contents, but this one's only one page. The Project Manager. For most users, Project Manager is the first window you'll see when you open DaVinci Resolve. The Project Manager is a centralized interface for managing all projects belonging to the user who's currently logged in, whose name appears at the upper right-hand corner in a project title bar. The Project Manager is also the place where you will import and export projects to and from DaVinci Resolve. Whether you're moving projects around from user to user or moving projects from one DaVinci Resolve workstation to another. My emphasis was weird there. Finally, the Project Manager also lets you organize the project libraries that are used to manage everything in DaVinci Resolve using the Project Library sidebar. To open any project, double-click it. To create a new project, double-click the untitled project icon or click the New Project button. Once you open a project, you have the option to adjust the system and user preferences that govern the installation of DaVinci Resolve on your workstation, and the project settings governing the currently open project. When you first install DaVinci Resolve, the most important of these settings are selected via the installer's on-board questions. However, if you're opening DaVinci Resolve for the first time, you should probably check these settings to make sure they're optimal for your system. Individual preferences and settings based on login. As of DaVinci Resolve 16, there are individual preferences and settings for each login account on a given computer. This means that artists can each have their own login, and DaVinci Resolve will maintain separate workspace accounts and preference states for each artist, depending on who's logged in. Preferences. The Preferences window, divided into System Preferences and User Preferences panels, lets you set up the overall environment of your DaVinci workstation, choosing what hardware to use with DaVinci Resolve and what user interface settings you prefer as you work. System Preferences. The System Preferences let you configure the hardware DaVinci Resolve works with. If you have a system that doesn't change very often, you may only rarely use the Preferences window. On the other hand, if you're working on a mobile system with changing video interfaces, control panels, and scratch volumes, you may use this window more frequently. Memory and GPU lets you choose various options governing how to use the GPUs attached to your computer and how to configure viewers in different pages. This panel also provides an overview for reference of all hardware and computer characteristics that are relevant to DaVinci Resolve running smoothly, including a list of installed GPUs. Media storage. This is a list within which you define the scratch disk used by your system. The first volume in this list is where the gallery sits and cache files are stored. Where the gallery stills and cache files are stored. So you want to make sure you choose the fastest storage volume that's connected. Decode options. These settings let you select various hardware options for decoding raw files in H.264 or H.265. It also lets you choose to use the Easy DCP decoder and the ability to refresh growing any files that are in the process of being written in the media pool. Audio and video I/O. The preferences in this panel let you choose which video and audio capture and monitor interfaces you want DaVinci Resolve to use on your workstation. If you have multiple Blackmagic Design I/O interfaces connected to your computer, you can choose between them. Video plugins. If you have any third-party OpenFX plugins installed, you can see them and enable or disable them here. Audio plugins. If you have any third-party VST plugins installed, you can see them and enable or disable them here. Control panels. Lets you choose and configure, if necessary, a control panel that's connected to use during grading in DaVinci Resolve. General. Lets you choose from a variety of settings that modify DaVinci Resolve's behavior. The LUT location selection lets you point DaVinci Resolve to any external folders containing LUTs for use in your project. Internet accounts. The Internet Accounts panel serves as a login manager for the Blackmagic Cloud and other social media sites. Advanced. This tab is used for special DaVinci Resolve configurations and SAN parameters that are applicable to older file systems. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Clout, Douglas, Loe, Romo, Kyogre. User preferences. User preferences govern the setup of the user interface in DaVinci Resolve, letting you customize it to work the way you like. UI settings. A language drop-down menu at the top lets you specify which language DaVinci Resolve user interface displays. DaVinci Resolve currently supports English, Chinese, Japanese, and Spanish, Portuguese, French, Russian, Thai, Vietnamese, and Korean. Additional checkboxes let you choose options for which project to open during startup and how to configure the viewers that appear in each page of DaVinci Resolve. Project Save and Load. This panel contains the all-important autosave controls, including the live save options that enable DaVinci Resolve to incrementally save your changes as you work. Editing. Numerous controls in this panel let you customize the editing experience in the edit page, including default settings for use when making new timelines and general settings that govern standard effect durations and trim behaviors. Color. These controls let you customize the grading experience in the color page with options controlling video scope display, the look of UI overlays, and other color-specific functions. Fairlight. These controls let you customize the editing experience in the Fairlight page with options controlling video offset, automation, and general settings. Playback settings. These controls let you customize how DaVinci Resolve handles video playback. If your playback is too slow, adjusting these settings may help. Control panels. These controls let you customize the settings of your connected control surface. Metadata. These controls let you customize the metadata presets. Project settings. Once you've created a project, all project-specific settings are found in the Project Settings window. To open the Project Settings window, just click the gear button in the bottom right of any page. The Project Settings open in the middle of the screen, divided into a series of panels which can be selected from a sidebar to the left. Each panel contains a collection of related settings that affects some category of DaVinci Resolve functionality. To open a panel of settings, simply click its name in the sidebar at the left. The master settings define the principal attributes of a project, such as the timeline resolution, timeline frame rate, color science, and bit depth. Image scaling settings define how clips that don't match the timeline resolution are scaled to fit. There are other panels for color management, camera raw, capture and playback, etc. Switching among pages. DaVinci Resolve is divided into 7 main pages of functionality, each of which facilitates a different specialization of a typical post-production workflow, and each of which can be accessed using buttons at the bottom of the DaVinci Resolve interface. These buttons are organized in order of workflow, and they're always available, letting you quickly switch between importing media, fast editing, detailed editing, compositing, grading, audio mixing, and outputting your project in a structured manner. Minimizing the Resolve page bar. If you right-click anywhere within the Resolve page bar at the bottom of the DaVinci Resolve UI, 2 options appear in the contextual menu: Show Icons and Labels and Show Icons Only. If you show icons only, the Resolve page bar at the bottom takes less room. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Tyler, I am not recording this, but I mean, it's a stream. I haven't kept streams public in the past, but maybe I'll keep this one public. We'll see. Wim, I didn't cut this book. It's just open. It's just the iPad. The iPad is down there, if you see. It's just, the iPad is smaller than the page of the book. This is not a D&D book. This is a behind the scenes of the filmmaking for the Harry Potter books. That's the biggest book I own. Where was I? Switching pages using keyboard shortcuts. You can also switch pages using the following keyboard shortcuts, which can be referenced from the Workspace Switch to Page submenu. Hide pages you don't use. You can leave the page navigation bar showing and just hide the buttons for specific pages. For example, if you like the quick navigation of this bar, but there are pages you simply don't want to use, or if you're setting up DaVinci Resolve Workstation for an artist making specific contributions to a project and you want to hide easy access to pages of functionality they won't or shouldn't be using, this can be especially useful in collaborative workflow projects. You can disable or re-enable each page's buttons using the Workspace Show Page submenu. Effects and adjustments that have been applied on hidden pages continue to affect the current project they're only hidden, and you can still navigate to them using the Workspace Switch to Page submenu commands or keyboard shortcuts. Hide page navigation altogether. If you're an artist that only uses a single page of the DaVinci Resolve experience, or if you want more screen real estate to work with, given your existing computer's display's limited resolution, you can choose Workspace Show Page Navigation to hide the page navigation bar at the bottom of the DaVinci Resolve interface. While the bar is closed, you can still navigate to other pages using the Workspace Switch to Page submenu commands or keyboard shortcuts. The media page. The media page is the primary interface for clip import, media management, and clip organization in DaVinci Resolve. It's central to the way DaVinci Resolve works that the source media used by a project is organized separately from the project data that you import and manage in the edit page. In this way, you can manage and update the clips used by the timelines in the current project with ease, switching between offline and online media, reorganizing clips, and troubleshooting any problems that occur. The media page also contains much of the core functionality that will be used for on-set workflows, and in the ingest, organizational, and sound syncing steps of digital dailies workflows. This chapter covers most of the functionality found in the media page, including functions in detail that are referenced throughout the manual. The media page is divided into 6 different areas, designed to make it easy to find, select, and work with media in your project. Much of the functionality and most of the commands are found within the contextual menus that appear when you right-click in the library, file browser, or media pool. Central? This is not a video. In that, it's a live stream, and it's not pre-recorded. iPad's fully charged. I think that might be a while. The Media Storage Browser. The Media Storage Browser shows a list of all volumes that are currently available to your Resolve workstation. It's used to locate media that you want to import manually into your project. Viewer. Clips that you select in any area of the media page show their contents in the viewer. A jog bar appears at the bottom, letting you drag the playhead directly with the pointer, while a jog control between the mode dropdown and transport controls lets you move through a long clip more slowly. The full width of the jog bar represents the full duration of the clip in the viewer. The current position of the playhead is shown in the timecode field at the upper right-hand corner of the viewer. Simple transport controls appear underneath the jog bar, letting you jump to first frame, play stop, and jump to last frame. Audio levels can be adjusted by right-clicking on the speaker icon and dragging the slider. You can also put the viewer into Cinema Viewer mode by choosing Workspace Viewer Mode Cinema Viewer, Command F, so that it fills the entire screen. This command toggles Cinema Viewer mode on and off. If you have two monitors connected to your computer, you can make the viewer fill one entire screen and keep the UI in the other monitor by choosing Workspace Full Screen Viewer on and selecting the display you wish to use for the viewer. Media pool. The media pool contains all of the video, audio, and still image media that you import into the current project. It also contains any media that's automatically imported along with timelines that have been imported into DaVinci Resolve. Ordinarily, all media imported into a project goes into the master bin. However, the media pool can be organized into many user-definable bins as you like, depending on your needs. Media can be freely moved from one bin to another within the media pool. The media pool also appears on the Edit, Fusion, Color, and Fairlight pages, making it possible to browse and open clips and timelines everywhere they're relevant. Metadata Editor. When you select a clip in any area of the media page, its metadata is displayed within the metadata editor. If you select multiple clips, only the last clip's information appears. The metadata editor's header contains uneditable information about the selected clip, including the file name, directory, duration, frame rate, resolution, and codec. A series of editable fields within the metadata editor lets you review and edit the different metadata items that are available. A drop-down menu at the upper right of the metadata editor lets you choose from many different sets of metadata fields and checkboxes, each grouped for a specific task or workflow. Audio panel. The audio panel can be put into one of two modes via a pair of buttons above the audio meters. In the default meters mode, audio meters are displayed that show the level of audio and clips you're playing. In waveform mode, you can load audio clips side by side with video clips opened in the viewer in order to sync them together manually. The audio panel can also be hidden. The cut page. The cut page is a focused environment for fast editing. It's useful in situations where you need to quickly cut a news segment, build an episode of web content, edit a straightforward program, experiment with multiple arrangements of a scene, or put together a first assembly edit. The cut page is also a good introductory editing interface for people who are new to editing, as it presents a streamlined set of tools that are fast to learn and simple to use. Whatever your background, you'll find the cut page to be a valuable addition to your editing experience in DaVinci Resolve. The default workspace of the cut page consists of the media pool, a single viewer, and the timeline area. These three regions let you quickly import and organize clips, edit clips, and even export the result all from the cut page. Thanks for joining. Next session, we're having fun over here. The media pool. The media pool appears in the cut page as well, and contains all video clips, audio clips, graphics, and other media that you import into the project. You can create bins with which to organize all of this media and make it easier to find what you need quickly. These bins are opened via the bin drop-down at the upper left-hand corner. Each piece of media you import, whether it's video, audio, or graphics, appears as an individual clip, and they can be selected, scrubbed for fast viewing, reorganized into bins, opened into the viewer for playback, or edited into a timeline using the edit buttons or via drag and drop. Owing to the cut page's mission to make editing faster, the media pool has different options for viewing, such as film strip view and customizing. The viewer. The viewer lets you see clips from the media pool or clips in the timeline play and has numerous controls to control what you see and how things play. The viewer has 4 mode options. Which option is currently in use can be seen and switched by 4 buttons in the upper left-hand corner of the viewer. The different options are entered automatically by various actions, from left to right. You can double-click any clip to open it in the viewer as a source clip. You can view an entire bin full of clips in the source tape. You can play your edited program in the timeline. You can see all of your synced material at the same time in the multi-source view. Clicking the Tools button in the lower left of the viewer reveals an effects toolbar that you can use to add and edit clip effects right in the viewer with no inspector needed. The Tools button reveals a variety of controls over sizing, cropping, audio, speed effects, stabilization, dynamic zoom, and compositing. Audio meter. An audio meter to the right of the viewer shows you a graphical representation of the audio levels playing in the current clip or in the timeline as you play through the viewer, via animated vertical bars that are tinted to indicate how loud the levels are. The timeline. The word timeline refers both to an edited sequence of clips, which constitutes a program that is stored in the media pool, and to the area of the cut page interface where you can open this sequence of clips to see its contents and for playback and editing. For the cut page user, the timeline is divided into an upper timeline at the bottom and a larger, more detailed timeline editor showing a zoomed-in portion of the timeline around the playhead at the bottom. Working together, these two views of your edited sequence make it possible to navigate your entire project and cut in great detail. 3 icons at the upper left-hand corner of the timeline lets you choose a variety of timeline tasks. They are composed of timeline options, timeline actions, and edit actions. The timeline is divided into multiple tracks, with each track capable of holding a sequence of clips in order to create a program. The main tracks, which are labeled numerically, combine a clip's video and audio into a single item in the timeline, for simplicity. Editing the inner out point of the clip edits the video and audio together. The edit page. The edit page exposes a source record style NLE that incorporates many specialized features for both creative editing and finishing. The edit page is divided into 3 main regions. The browsers found at the left, the viewers at the top, and the timeline at the bottom, all of which work together to let you import, edit, and trim timelines in a flexible variety of tools and methods. The media pool. As with everywhere else, it appears in DaVinci Resolve, the media pool lets you organize and peruse all of the media and timelines in a project. DaVinci Resolve projects may contain 1 or more edited timelines, sometimes called a sequence in other applications. The media pool in the edit page is identical to that shown in the Media, Fusion, Fairlight, and Color pages, and shows you all of the source clips and timelines that are available for editing. A bin list at the left shows a hierarchical list of folders that you can use to organize your media. By default, the media pool has a single bin named Master, but you can add more bins as necessary to organize your clips, opening any of them to expose their contents with a single click. The bin list can be hidden or shown via the button at the upper left of the media pool. A browser to the right shows the contents of the currently selected bin. Effects Library Browsing. The Effects Library contains a folder with the different video transitions, title effects, generators, and filters that are available for editing in the timeline. The Effects Library has two panels: a Toolbox panel that contains the default transitions, titles, and generators that Resolve comes with, and an Open Effects panel that contains any Open Effects transition and generators you might have installed on your system. Edit Index. Clicking the Index button opens the Edit Index. By default, this shows an EDL-style list views of all the edit events in the current timeline. Whichever timeline is selected in the timeline list displays its events here. Each clip and transition is shown as an individual event, each of which contains multiple columns of information. If you re-edit a timeline, your changes are automatically reflected in the list. Source or offline and timeline viewers. The source viewer lets you view individual clips in the media pool to prepare them for editing. Meanwhile, the timeline viewer shows the frames at the position of the playhead in the timeline. You can select either viewer by clicking, and the name of the viewer that currently has focus appears in orange. The color shown in the source viewer usually reflects that of the original source media, while the timeline viewer shows whatever grading you've done in the color page. If you want to change the edit page layout to hide the source viewer, you can choose Workspace Single Viewer Mode to hide the source viewer, and instead use just a single viewer to contextually display either a selected source clip or the current frame of the timeline. In Single Viewer Mode, whatever you select in the media pool or timeline determines which controls appear in the viewer, which lets you do nearly everything you can do with two simultaneous open viewers. You can also put either the source or timeline viewers into Cinema Viewer mode by choosing Workspace Viewer Mode Cinema Viewer, causing whichever viewer is currently selected to fill the entire screen. This command toggles Cinema Viewer mode on and off. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Accession Uzair, Mr. Artisan, Mr. Banks. Inspector. The inspector can be opened to let you customize compositing, transform, and cropping parameters for clips, as well as clip-specific retime and scaling options. Furthermore, the inspector lets you edit the parameters of transitions, titles, and generators used in the timeline in order to customize their effect. Ordinarily, the inspector opens alongside the source and timeline viewers, but on smaller displays, opening the inspector switches the edit page to a single viewer mode, showing you the timeline item that you're inspecting alongside the inspector with that clip's parameter. Toolbar. 11 buttons starting from the left, running along the top of the timeline, let you choose different tools and perform various editing functions. Timeline. The timeline shows whichever timeline you've double-clicked in the timeline's browser. It's the workspace where you either edit programs together from scratch or import sequences from other applications to work on inside of Resolve. You can only have one timeline open at a time. I'm not sure if that's still true. The timeline is divided into audio and video tracks, each of which has a series of header controls at the left that let you choose destination tracks for editing, name tracks, and turn tracks on and off, among other things. The appearance of the timeline can be customized using the Timeline View Options dropdown in the toolbar. Floating timecode window. A timecode window is available from the workspace menu on every page, including the edit page. Choosing this option displays a floating timecode window that shows the timecode of the viewer or timeline that currently has focus. This window is resizable, so you can make the timecode larger or smaller. Motion graphics and visual effects in DaVinci Resolve. To begin with, DaVinci Resolve has a wealth of effects in both the edit and color pages for creating titles, transforming and animating clips, compositing and creating transparency effects, cutting mattes, applying filters, image stabilization, lens dewarping, and so on. Then, of course, there's the Fusion page, which adds considerably more powerful VFX and motion graphics capabilities via its node-based interface and deep tool set of effect nodes, keyframing and curve editing controls, and 2D and 3D compositing features. To use DaVinci Resolve to the best effect, it's prudent to think of the Edit, Fusion, and Color pages as complementary sets of controls. For editors, the Fusion and Color pages are really just two giant inspectors, one filled with every compositing tool you could hope to use, and the other filled with every control for color and visual adjustment you could want, each of which are only a click away. For compositing artists, the edit page can be considered a robust shot management interface, as well as an opportunity to do VFX work that's deeply integrated in the edit of the program you're working on. For colorists, the edit page is a refined environment for dealing with conform issues and taking care of myriad finishing tasks quickly and easily. That itself is only one click away. VFX Connect. As robust as the built-in compositing capabilities of DaVinci Resolve now are, when you run into instances where the various capabilities found in the Edit, Fusion, and Color pages aren't enough to achieve the effect you require, you can use the VFX Connect feature of DaVinci Resolve to send one or more clips from the edit page timeline to Blackmagic Fusion, the powerful node-based compositing application from Blackmagic Design, in order to do more robust compositing and effect work there. Furthermore, the VFX Connect feature can also be used to round-trip media and render results from third-party applications such as the Foundry's Nuke, Autodesk Flame, or Blender. This is a simple round-trip operation that lets you send clips from the DaVinci Resolve timeline to Fusion or another application where you'll add effects and do whatever work needs to be done before rendering a finished effect file that, if properly named, will automatically appear back in your timeline. When you use VFX Connect for Blackmagic Fusion, a project file is automatically generated and the render path is automatically named for automatic linking from the DaVinci Resolve timeline. If you use this feature with third-party applications, you'll need to set up the naming of your rendered effect file manually. The Fusion page. The Fusion page is intended, eventually, to be a feature-complete integration of Blackmagic Design Fusion, a powerful 2D and 3D compositing application with over 30 years of evolution serving the film and broadcast industry, creating effects that have been seen in countless films and television series. Merged right into DaVinci Resolve with a newly updated user interface, the Fusion page makes it possible to jump immediately from editing right into compositing with no need to export media, relink files, or launch another application to get your work done. Everything you need now lives right inside DaVinci Resolve. The work area. You'll probably not see this term used much in favor of the specific panels within the work area that you'll be using. But the area referenced to as the work area is the region at the bottom half of the Fusion page UI, within which you can expose 3 main panels used to construct compositions and edit animations in the Fusion page. These are the Node Editor, the Spline Editor, and the Keyframes Editor. By default, the Node Editor is the first thing you'll see and the main area you'll be working within, but it can sit side by side with the Spline Editor and Keyframes Editor as necessary. And you can make more horizontal room on your display for these 3 panels by putting the effects library and inspector into half height mode if necessary. Viewers. The viewer area encompasses the time ruler and transport controls. The time ruler is the principal timeline of the Fusion page, which focuses exclusively on the current composition you're working on and may consist of one clip or several. This area can be set to display either 1 or 2 viewers at the top of the Fusion page chosen via the viewer button at the far right of the viewer title bar. Each viewer can show a single node's output from anywhere in the node tree. You assign which node is displayed in which viewer. This makes it easy to load separate nodes into each viewer for comparison. For example, you can load a keyer node into the left viewer and the final composite into the right viewer, so you can see the image you're adjusting and the final result at the same time. Ordinarily, each viewer shows 2D nodes from your composition as a single image. However, when you're previewing a 3D node, you have the option to set the viewer to one of several 3D views, including a perspective view that gives you a repositionable stage on which to arrange the elements of the world you're creating, or a quad view that lets you see the composition from 4 angles, making it easier to arrange and edit objects and layers within the XYZ axes of the 3D space in which you're working. Toolbar. The toolbar, located underneath the time ruler, contains buttons that let you quickly add commonly used nodes to the node interface. Clicking any of these nodes adds a node after the currently selected node in the node tree, or adds an unconnected instance of that node if no nodes are selected. Effects library. The effects library on the Fusion page shows all of the nodes and effects that are available in the Fusion page, including effects that come with DaVinci Resolve and third-party OFX, if available. While the toolbar shows many of the most common nodes you'll be using in any composite, the effects library contains every single node available in the Fusion page, organized by category, with each node ready to be quickly added to the node viewer. Suffice it to say that there are many more nodes available in the effects library than on the toolbar, spanning a wide range of uses. Node Editor. The node editor is the heart of the Fusion page because it's where you build the tree of nodes that makes up each composition. Each node you add to the node tree adds a specific operation that creates one effect, whether it's blurring the image, adjusting color, painting strokes, drawing and adding a mask, extracting a key, creating text, or compositing 2 images into one. The inspector is a panel on the right side of the Fusion page that you use to display and manipulate the parameters in one or more selected nodes. When a node is selected in the node editor, its parameters and settings appear in the inspector, ready for you to modify. The Fusion inspector is divided into 2 panels. The Tools panel shows you the parameters of selected nodes. The Modifiers panel shows you different things for different nodes. For all nodes, it shows you the controls for modifiers or adjustable expressions that you've added to specific parameters to automatically animate them in different ways. Thumbnail timeline. Hidden by default, the thumbnail timeline can be opened by clicking the Clips button in the UI toolbar and appears underneath the node editor when it's open. The thumbnail timeline shows you every clip in the current timeline, giving you a way to navigate from one clip to another when working on multiple compositions in your project. and providing an interface for creating and switching among various versions of compositions and resetting the current composition when necessary. Media pool. In the Fusion page, the media pool continues to serve its purpose as a repository for all media you've imported into your project. This makes it easy to add additional clips from your compositions simply by dragging the clip you want from the media pool into the node editor. The media you add appears as a new media in node in your composition, ready to be integrated into the rest of your node tree however you need. Status bar. The status bar at the bottom of the Fusion page, immediately above the Resolve page bar, shows you a variety of up-to-date information about the things you're selecting and what's happening in the Fusion page. The console. The console, available by clicking Workspace Console, is a window in which you can see the error, log, script, and input messages that may explain something the Fusion page is trying to do in greater detail. The console is also where you can read Fusion script outputs or input Fusion scripts directly. Occasionally, the status bar described above will display a badge to let you know there's a message in the console you might be interested in. The badge will indicate if the message is an error, log, or script message. The color page. The color page is where you color correct or grade your program. It has all of the controls available for manipulating color and contrast, reducing noise, creating limited secondary color corrections, building image effects of different kinds, adjusting clip geometry, and making many other corrective and stylistic adjustments. The color page is divided into 7 main areas that work together to let you build a grade. Viewer. The viewer shows the frame at the current position of the playhead in the timeline. The contents of the viewer are almost always output to video via whichever I/O interface you have connected. At the top of the viewer is a header that displays the project and timeline names, as well as the viewer timecode displays that show the source timecode of each clip by default. The timeline name is also a top-down display that lets you switch to any other timeline in the project. A jog bar, sometimes referred to as a scrubber bar, underneath the image lets you drag the playhead across the entire duration of the clip, while transport controls underneath that let you control the playback. A toolbar at the top provides controls governing image wipes, split screen controls, and highlight display. Additional controls let you turn the audio playback on and off, or adjust them by right-clicking on the speaker icon and dragging the slider. You can also choose which on-screen controls are currently displayed. You can also put the viewer into Cinema Viewer mode by choosing Workspace Viewer Mode Cinema Viewer so that it fills the entire screen. This command toggles Cinema Viewer mode on and off. 2 other modes, Enhanced Viewer and Full Screen Viewer, are available to provide more working area for tasks such as window positioning and rotoscoping. The gallery is used for storing still frames to use as reference when comparing clips to one another. Each still frame also stores that clip's grade, so you can copy it later. Stills and grades are stored together. A button lets you open up the album browser used for organizing your stills. At the top of the gallery, memories let you store grade information that you can apply using a control panel or keyboard shortcuts. You can also open a larger gallery window within the color page that provides more room for organizing your saved stills and grades. The node editor is where you assemble one or more individual corrections nodes together to create multi-correction grades seen as node trees. This is a powerful way of assembling grades since different combinations of nodes let you create different corrections and very specific adjustments by reordering operations, combining keys, or changing the layer order of different adjustments. The timeline in the color page reflects the contents of the timeline in the edit page, but has a different appearance that's tailored to the requirements of the colorist. However, the content is identical, and changes made to the timeline in the edit page are immediately seen in the color page if you switch back and forth. The color page timeline provides several different ways of navigating the clips in your project, as well as keeping track of what has been done to which clips. The timeline is divided into 3 parts, each of which shows different information and provides differing controls. A timeline ruler at the top lets you scrub the playhead across multiple clips and can be zoomed out enough to show every clip in your entire program. Underneath, the mini timeline, which can be opened or closed via a button at the right of the palette bar, shows a small representation of the timeline in the edit page, wherein each clip is as long as the actual duration. At the bottom of the timeline is the thumbnail timeline, in which each clip is represented by a single frame. The currently selected clip is outlined in orange, and information appears above and below each thumbnail, such as the clip's source time code, clip number, and track number, version name, where it's been graded, whether it's been tracked, if it's been flagged, and so on. Left palettes. A series of palettes at the bottom left of the color page provides access to different sets of grading tools, used principally for manipulating color, contrast, and raw media format settings. Each individual palette is opened by clicking on the corresponding icon at the top of the palette panel. The available palettes are the Camera Raw palette for making metadata adjustments to raw media formats, the Color Match palette for creating automatic grades by sampling on-camera color charts, the Color Wheels, graphical color balance controls, and master wheels for sliders for adjusting Y, RGB, lift gamma gain, HDR grade for enhanced high dynamic range editing, the RGB mixer for mixing color channels into one another, and the motion effects panel, which controls for noise reduction and artificial motion blur. At 1920 by 1080 resolutions or higher, a second set of palettes is organized at the bottom center of the color page. These palettes span a wide range of functionality, and the adjustments you make with them can be combined with those using the color palettes, made using the color palettes. The 8 available center palettes include the Curves palette, the Color Warper palette, Qualifiers palette, the Windows palette, the Tracker palette, the Magic Mask palette, the Blur palette, the Key palette, the Sizing palette, and the Stereoscopic 3D palette. Keyframe Editor. The Keyframe Editor provides an interface for animating color, sizing, stereo format adjustments over time. Each node in the node editor corresponds to a track in the Keyframe Editor, which lets you animate each node's adjustment independently. How we all doing? We all doing all right? My stomach's rumbling. That was the color page, right? Yes. Thanks for joining me on this nifty little stream. Feel free to join us again next year for part 2 of the DaVinci Resolve manual. We left off on page 46 of 4032. You have a good day. Don't fall for any April Fool's tricks. Bye.